You save for years to fulfill a lifelong dream, taking your son to see a World Cup final. You arrive at the ticket booth, and then they tell you the price, $230,000. And no, that's not a mistake. That's the price a final ticket actually reached on FIFA's official platform. And when they asked his boss what he thought about these crazy prices, here's what he answered with a smile on his face. Actually,
if somebody buys a ticket for the final for $2 million, I will personally bring him a hot dog and a Coke. Yeah, to make sure that he has a smile on his face.
that's the mindset of the most powerful organization in world sports. Because behind the celebration, the goals, and the tears of joy, the World Cup has become one of the most formidable money-making machines targeting consumers on the planet. But how did a simple soccer tournament become this billion-dollar machine? And why do the countries that dream of hosting it almost always end up ruined? And how in 2026 did FIFA, an organization officially listed as non-profit, manage to turn its own supporters into cash cows like never before in history without anyone stopping the scam? Hi, Entrepreneur Mindset team. I hope you're doing well. Today, we're diving into the financial backstage of the 2026 World Cup organized in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. It's the story of an event sold as a popular celebration, but which has become a commercial operation of rare brutality, where the host countries get poorer, the fans get fleeced, and only one player takes all the winnings. Before we start, have you ever dreamed of launching your own YouTube channel? Join our free club for exclusive behind-the-scenes content from Entrepreneur Mindset. Find the link in the description. Hosting the World Cup would be a jackpot, a global spotlight, millions of tourists, massive benefits. But the reality is much harsher. In the heart of the Amazon rainforest in the city of Manaus stands a stadium that cost around $270 million, a magnificent venue. Ultra-modern, built specifically for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. The problem is that after the World Cup, Manaus had no top-level team to fill it. This overpriced jewel has therefore turned into a desperate white elephant, and Brazil is not an isolated case. South Africa, in 2010, spent nearly $4 billion on stadiums, several of which have become burdens that are too expensive to maintain. But the absolute peak of excess was Qatar in 2022, with a bill estimated at around $200 billion when including the infrastructure. Even the famous Stadium 974, which was designed to be completely dismantled and then rebuilt in a developing country, only half kept its promise. It was indeed dismantled, but the famous reconstruction elsewhere never really happened. Economists have a name for this phenomenon. It's called a white elephant. Originally, the white elephant was a royal poison gift in Asia. The animal was sacred, so it couldn't be put to work or gotten rid of, but it cost a fortune to feed. It ended up ruining whoever received it. A stadium built for the World Cup. That's exactly it. Splendid for a month, then impossible to make profitable and expensive to maintain. For decades, the host country inherits the gift and therefore the bill. On the other hand, in this surprising exchange, the one who gives the gift hits the jackpot. While the host countries go into debt to build stadiums they will never make profitable, it's FIFA that collects most of the revenue without paying a cent for these infrastructures. And the 2026 edition is going to break all records. FIFA is aiming for revenues of around $13 billion for its cycle, almost double that of Qatar. For an organization that is officially a non-profit, that number is enough to make you smile. And to justify such high prices, Infantino has a ready-made explanation. According to him, the United States is the most developed entertainment market in the world, so it's only right to apply market prices. Americans are used to being ripped off, so why not take advantage of it?
We are in a market where entertainment is the most developed in the world. So we have to apply market rates. In the US, it is permitted to resell tickets as well. So if you were to sell tickets at a price which is too low, these tickets would be resold at a much higher price.
And to achieve this in the best way possible, here are FIFA's innovations. The competition goes from 32 to 48 teams, which increases the number of matches from 64 to 104. And here we have to be clear about the real reason for this change. Officially, it's to give more nations a chance. Unofficially, 16 more teams means 40 more matches, so mountains of tickets, more TV rights, and more sponsors. FIFA, on the other hand, prefers to highlight another number. It claims the 3 host countries will get over $30 billion in benefits and hundreds of thousands of jobs, but independent economists don't buy it at all. According to an analysis by Saxo Bank, these promises are largely inflated. It would actually be around $17 billion, which is just a drop in the bucket for the United States. So we have a clear system. Countries fund the infrastructure, while FIFA takes the profits. But the most shocking part is still to come, because this year, FIFA decided to squeeze one last source of revenue to the bone. For the first time in World Cup history, FIFA applied a technique straight from airlines and concerts to its tickets. Dynamic pricing. The price is no longer fixed. Prices rise automatically with real-time demand. As a match becomes more attractive, ticket prices increase instantly. The effects were immediate. Between October 2025 and April 2026, FIFA raised prices on more than 90 out of 104 matches, with an average increase of 34%. And the surge is especially staggering for the top matches in the final stages. That's where prices have literally skyrocketed. For a seat in the final in the best categories, we're now talking about tens of thousands of dollars. Just a few editions ago, it was only a few hundred. And to make it seem like the tournament was still popular, FIFA talked about those famous $60 tickets, except they only made up a tiny fraction of the total. A showcase to hide an overpriced reality. But the most cynical stroke of genius is the resale. FIFA created its own official resale platform and removed the price cap in the United States and Canada. As a result, tickets are being sold for several times their value, sometimes more than 10 times. And on each resale, FIFA takes 15% from the seller and 15% from the buyer. That's 30 in its pocket for every transaction. Think for a second about what that means. FIFA first sells the ticket, then when that ticket is resold again and again for higher and higher prices, it gets a commission each time. It's both the seller and the reseller. The higher the price goes, the more it earns. It's a machine designed to get rich off the frenzy of the fans. And that frenzy is real. Infantino even bragged about it in Davos, explaining that in almost 100 years, FIFA had sold 50 million tickets, and that for this single World Cup, it received the equivalent of 1,000 years worth of demand all at once.
150 million ticket requests means that if you think about it, in almost 100 years, that's it. For the World Cup, FIFA has sold a total of 44 million tickets. So in just 2 weeks for the next World Cup next year, we could have filled 300 years worth of World Cups.
Except this time, the scam went too far and the law got involved. On May 27, 2026, New York and New Jersey attorneys general subpoenaed FIFA and launched an official investigation into deceptive business practices, focusing on the scandal involving the seating plan. Fans who bought certain seat categories were downgraded or left uninformed about replacements, especially for the 8 MetLife Stadium matches, including the final.
In the U.S., New York and New Jersey have launched a formal investigation into FIFA's World Cup ticketing practices. The attorneys general issued a subpoena on Wednesday demanding details on how tickets were priced and allocated. The two states are focusing on 8 matches in New Jersey, including the World Cup final, after fans reported receiving seats in lower categories than they paid for.
That's where the real business lesson of our story lies. It's cynical, but the World Cup is sold to us as an emotion, a sense of togetherness, a childhood dream. And it's precisely that emotion that lowers our guard. When we love something passionately, we're willing to pay almost any price. And it's exactly through this weakness that the commercial machine slips in. The most powerful brands don't sell a product. They sell an emotion so strong that we forget to count. Passion is the most powerful price lever that exists. FIFA understood this better than anyone, and today they're using it on billions of people. And if this story about a giant squeezing its own fans to the last drop fascinated you, you'll love the story of another empire, Disney, which tried to do exactly the same thing with its subscribers. For them, it nearly caused everything to blow up, as shown in the video.